I'm curious what you meant by some of us are not as native, and the idea of something being transmitted to the tractors was interesting. Could you expand on that?
Although it is still taught in your textbooks, science has discovered that you do not and have not directly evolved from the primates of your planet, although there is in part some of the contribution of these animals in your DNA. Humanity is an experiment. A co-creation by the consciousness that has chosen to be a part of this experiment throughout your history, and other consciousness that has contributed in its way. In more recent times, there have been upgrades to the software or hardware in this case that had at times success and failure. Please remember that if we are talking in past tense, we are also talking in present tense. For what we are now describing is being absorbed by your consciousness in your now, and in the consciousness of those involved at the time was there now or is there now. And science is a tricky business, especially when it is being manipulated, for science is nature. The nature of your planet, this planet, is not and cannot be the same as the nature of parallel planets, even the parallel planets that are called exactly the same and are inhabited by exactly the same versions of you, with a slight difference in that one version of you has a ingrown toenail and one does not, for example. Something as slight as that in the changes of two parallel realities will create an entirely different universe, and therefore an entirely different scientific and natural structure of a planet. What we are trying to say is that the merging of timelines is as disruptive to the nature and science of any of the timelines as, let's say, influence from other planets, for example. And so when we say that some of the physical matter here on this planet is not as native as some other, we are implying only that it is not of this timeline directly, and there has been some alteration, whether that be in terms of matter that comes from an external source to your planet, or matter that comes from an external timeline to the timeline that is currently running. And all of this is only relevant in as much as it is being chosen by you at this time as a understanding that you are desiring to have. In your timeline and collective at this time, and for some of you, it is relevant for you to know or believe to know that you are not from here, both on a spiritual level and as an extra on a physical level. We remind you that physical matter is simply a concentration of consciousness, and so when we are discussing anything of this nature, we are discussing something that is not truly real, and therefore completely malleable. In a next moment, the beings we were talking to earlier could change their decision and have a consciousness that thinks that they simply have some sort of disease that can easily be alleviated by eating parsley. There is much suggestion towards beings from other planets and disclosure of the knowing of beings from other planets and the hybridization program that has involved beings from other planets. And this too is a contributing factor to the statement that we expressed earlier. Why has this program been, and what was its scope, and what was its, or what is its objective, at least on the level and the specifics that we are discussing now, was to create humans that were more easily able to tap into their non-physical, physical form for healing and acceleration of activation of what we had then called the tractors on your planet. Does this make sense?
Yes, and just so I understand, you're saying that beings were created that are more connected to their non-physical self to then transmit that concept or idea and to activate the ones that aren't as connected to their non-physical selves?
Yes, with the slight correction that we would say that beings chose to be created for that purpose. For they are part of the same program and on many levels on a specific mission here while in incarnation that they are able to then tap into when and if their own skills are activated.
And so the beings that chose to, the tractor beings that chose to not be as connected to their non-physical selves, that's all part of just play, like creation just playing with different levels of forgetting. Is that accurate?
Yes, absolutely. And there are many who are simply here to be here. There's no scope.
Is that like saying there are just some beings that are just here to enjoy?
Enjoy and or suffer and or experience all the range of human emotion. This is the hottest ticket in town.
Yeah.
You will find also that there are many who do not want the film to end. And this is why there is duality on your planet at this time. There is a opposition to the awakening and resolution and end of questions. For then the game would be over for this particular portion of consciousness. This timeline would be different than it is. And there are those who are enjoying this timeline as it is.
So when you say you know us to be heroes, you say that because to us it feels the best to be that highest version of ourselves. Not
Yes, there is no one truly to save. There is a game that you have chosen to come here to play in which you are the heroes. As we explained earlier, you can circumvent the whole thing, but then you would not have the opportunity to be what you came here to be. And that comes back to this concept of being a hero. If you chose tomorrow to end all of the suffering of the planet, you could, and you would have to do nothing except be it into awareness. You are also a rock. Did you know that? You are also a rock right in this moment. You are the consciousness of a rock right in this moment, and the rock is blissfully happy. The rock is not ignorant. It is simply done with the game on such a deep and profound level that it is here to just be. Perhaps it is mind, and there's suffering that occurs around it, and it is sold at Tiffany's. But it is here to just exist. The beings that you believe are in the veil of forgetting are oftentimes the most enlightened creatures you will ever meet, for they are not trying, and they are not in any form of illusion of what their life is. They are just here to be. Of course, it is all a matter of perspective. In the game that you are playing, there is some amazing thing happening, and it is. And you get to be a part of that. And that is why you came. And it is so exciting. And the time is now. When we first started our transmissions, we told you that it was time to celebrate and relax. And we think now that the summer holidays are over. And with that, we wish you the most amazing night and week. And send you all the love that you know you already are. And I know.